For 45 years, and with 30 million fans who've turned up for 100 million albums, what Kiss has with its audience is the real thing, a straight-up relationship built on spectacle, songs, and stamina. Gene Simmons has always lived big. From fire-breathing and blood-spitting on stage to jaw-dropping sound bites off it, the Kiss co-founder made a career out of being bold, noisy, and impossible to overlook. Fame at that level always stirs controversy. He's been praised as a rock legend, hailed as a savvy businessman, and flagged as a headline factory. And now something new just landed. It's big. It's racing around the internet. Fans are stunned. Is it another outrageous quote? A shock business move? Or something deeper? Let's rewind through Gene's wild ride and what just went public. Gene Simmons entered the world as Chaim Witz on August 25, 1949, in Haifa, Israel. His parents were Hungarian Jewish refugees who survived the war. His mother, Flora Kovacs, later known as Florence Klein and then Florence Lubowski, was born in the small Hungarian town of Zsand. She was deported in 1944 to Nazi camps and was finally liberated in May 1945 from a camp in Austria. Out of her entire family, only she and her brother Larry survived the Holocaust. Gene's father, Ferenc Witz, was a carpenter. They married in 1946, moved to Israel in 1947, and settled in Tirat Carmel. The family was observant and life was lean. Gene has said they were dirt poor, living on rations, bread, milk, whatever was available. At 7, he sold wild fruit on the roadside with a friend to bring in a little money. When he turned 8, his parents separated. His mother took him to America, starting over in Queens, New York City. His father stayed in Israel, eventually having 1 son and 3 daughters. In New York, Chaim became Gene Klein, taking his mother's surname. He spent a short time in a religious Jewish school, then switched to public school and graduated from Newtown High School. He attended Sullivan County Community College, then Richmond College, Staten Island, finishing an education degree in 1970. Teaching, however, wasn't where history would remember him. Something louder was calling. Before the makeup and the money, Gene did whatever it took to pay rent in New York City. Fast on a typewriter, he landed an assistant's job for an editor at Vogue. He also taught 6th grade on the Upper West Side for 6 months. The checks cleared, but his heart was elsewhere. Music. He adopted the stage name Gene Simmons as a nod to rockabilly singer Jumpin' Gene Simmons, and he has also quipped that the name echoed actress Gene Simmons, even titling a Kiss song Great Expectations after one of her films. While juggling jobs, he woodshed guitar for hours. Seeing the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show was his lightning strike. In his words, "There's no way I'd be doing what I do now if it wasn't for the Beatles." At 15, he joined Lynx, which evolved into The Missing Lynx. After moving on, he formed the Long Island Sounds with Steve Coronel and Alan Schwartzberg, who pushed Gene to buy his first bass. When the band needed a bassist, Gene stepped up and never looked back. By 1967, that outfit morphed again, this time into the Love Bag, to keep the dream alive. He even sold used comic books on the side. Between 1968 and 1970, while attending Sullivan County Community College in Loch Sheldrake, New York, Gene kept forming bands and recording. He joined Bullfrog Beer. They cut home demos, and the song Lita would later surface on a Kiss box set. That group ran until 1970, with lineups constantly shifting. Around then, Gene regrouped with Steve Coronel and keyboardist Brooke Ostrander. The trio had previously played in Coffee, 1969. They launched a new project, first called Rainbow, then Wicked Lester, and recruited Stanley Eisen, soon to be Paul Stanley. They recorded a full album, but hated the sound and the unfocused image. Attempts to fire bandmates failed, so Gene and Paul walked, giving up their Epic Records deal to chase a sharper vision, a band with huge songs, a killer look, and an unmistakable identity. 73. Kiss is born. Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley were ready to level up. They needed a drummer and found one via an ad. George Peter John Criscuola, the Brooklyn club regular who became Peter Krause. Gene and Peter also cut an album with members of Peter's former band Chelsea. It never came out. Next came a lead guitarist search. An audition brought in Paul Frehley, forever Ace Frehley. The classic lineup was complete. In 1974, they dropped their debut, Kiss. On stage, Paul became the high-energy frontman. Gene grew into the face of a mammoth merchandise empire. His makeup persona, the Demon, was influenced by the comic character Black Bolt. By 1983, momentum dipped and the band made a radical move. They removed the makeup. Shocked fans tuned in, and the gamble worked. Kiss roared back through the 1990s. Lineup changes followed. Peter Criss was voted out and replaced by Paul Charles Caravello, who became Eric Carr, drumming from 1980 until his death in 1991. In 1995, Kiss launched fan conventions so successful they sparked demand for a full reunion. The 1996-1997 Alive Worldwide Tour reunited the original four and crushed at the box office. In 1998, they issued Psycho Circus. Soon after, departures resumed. Ace Frehley was replaced by Tommy Thayer. Eric Singer, a prior Kiss drummer, returned to take Peter Criss's spot. Faces changed. Firepower didn't. Gene didn't stop at arenas. He popped up on film and TV for decades. In 1978, the band fronted the TV movie Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. In 1981, after auditioning for a series called Grottes, produced by Marcy Carsey, ABC offered him his own show. He turned it down, saying the pay didn't touch Kiss money. In 1984, he acted in Runaway, written and directed by Michael Crichton, starring Tom Selleck. In 1987, he appeared in Wanted, Dead or Alive with Rutger Hauer. TV credits kept coming. Miami Vice, 1985, The Prodigal Son. A prank stint on I Get That a Lot, and playing himself on CSI Crime Scene Investigation, 2014, Long Road Home. He guested on Third Watch, 2004, as mob boss Donald Mann in the Season 5 finale and Season 6 premiere. He moved behind the camera, too. In 2015, he launched Arenas Pictures, often stylized in reports as Eris Erebus Pictures. Its first release was the horror thriller Armed Response. In 2022, he judged Yoshiki Superstar Project X on Hulu Japan and introduced Yoshiki at the TCL Chinese Theater handprint ceremony in September 2023. Then, in May 2023, he partnered with Gary Hamilton, ArcLight Films, to form Simmons Hamilton Productions, announcing a slate of 25 movies in 5 years, action, thriller, franchise films. First up, Deep Water, to be directed by Rennie Harlin, with Simmons among the producers, one story Gene loves to tell. In 1973, Kiss's first manager called their music the worst crap he'd ever heard and dumped them. Gene then took over managing. From $50 a night, Kiss ultimately sold over 100 million albums. Bluntness is part of his brand, and sometimes a landmine. His son, Nick Simmons, once wrote in Vice that his dad was full of crap. Fans are split. Some admire the iron will it took to survive ugly reviews, label rejections, and peers lost to drugs and booze. Others say the mouth crosses lines far too often. In 2017, he waded into the now infamous Devil Horns debacle. Gene filed to trademark the hand gesture, claiming first use on a 1974 tour, meaning acts from Avril Lavigne to Katy Perry to Justin Bieber might have to pay to flash it. Fans quickly pointed to John Lennon using a similar sign in 1966 and a 1969 Coven album cover. After ridicule, he withdrew the bid, later saying, "I regret nothing. Wake up every morning and let your conscience be your guide." In 2002, Gene appeared on NPR's Fresh Air with Terry Gross. It turned prickly fast. He corrected her pronunciation of his name, then made a crude remark about her Gentile mouth, though Gross is Jewish. Asked about his metal codpiece, he quipped it kept his manhood contained, and tossed in an even cruder line about open arms and open legs. Gross called it obnoxious. Gene insisted he was just being honest, not doing shtick, and later barred NPR from posting the audio. Portions resurfaced in a book, and again on air in 2007. Gene later said he bristled at her holier-than-thou tone. Simmons has long blasted piracy. In 2007, he called for litigation against illegal downloaders. In 2008, he threatened to stop releasing new music if theft continued. Hacktivist group Anonymous retaliated by knocking his website offline, twice. He came back swinging, and they hit again. In 2014, he declared rock murdered, not dead of natural causes, blaming file sharing for devaluing music. Debate flared, as usual, and Gene didn't budge. A low point came in 2016 in an interview with Songfacts.com when Simmons mocked people battling depression, saying of a 20-year-old kid in Seattle, "Screw you then, end your life," and adding he'd tell anyone on a ledge to jump. Stations like Triple M and Power 97 pulled Kiss music. Gene apologized afterward, but the damage was done. That same year, as the world mourned Prince, Gene praised Prince's talent, left Michael Jackson in the dust, then called his death pathetic, saying drugs and alcohol are a slow passing. Backlash was immediate. Even Paul Stanley tweeted, "Embarrassed by cold, clueless statements, Rebar. Prince is passing." Without all the facts, better to say nothing. My apologies. Gene often links music to desire, insisting most musicians really chase women, not art. That view erases countless creators, gay men, straight women, anyone outside that frame, and ignores artists like Elton John, Freddie Mercury, and Melissa Etheridge. Confronted by journalists such as Terry Gross and Lisa Robinson about whether the makeup, boots, blood, and fire are just a mask, he likened it to women wearing makeup. He's boasted of partners 4,600, then 4,800, and on his reality show, Gene Simmons' Family Jewels, 4,197. When pressed, he quipped many didn't get a lot of sleep, calling that a good guess. His advice to young men? Tell a woman, "I find you attractive, and I also find your sister and your mommy attractive, too. If she can handle that, you're in, babe." He even sold Kiss-branded condoms with his cartoon face and tongue. He's taken swipes at many pop stars. He once said he was sick of women lip-syncing with dancers, blasting it as fake bullcrap, and snarking that it should be left to the Rihanna Shmiana, anyone ending in Anna. Fans called it misogynistic. At the same time, he's monetized almost anything, famously selling Kiss-branded bags of air for $3.99. Empty bags. Thousands sold, netting the band millions. After Anonymous attacked his site, Gene posted warnings about legal teams, the FBI, and adventurous young people who might find their little butts in jail right next to someone who's been there for years and is looking for a new girlfriend. He vowed to publish names and photos. "We will find you. You cannot hide." He's thrown elbows at bands, too. On Guns N' Roses, he said they could have been the best band in the world, and blamed Axl Rose for derailment, even remarking a good beating might have helped, ignoring addiction struggles across the lineup. An Australian radio interview saw him label Islam a vile culture with sweeping, inaccurate claims about women's rights, remarks condemned by Muslim leaders Susan Carland and Yasser Soliman. Gene later said he meant extremists, not all Muslims. Many felt the harm was already done. In 2005, an ex-girlfriend, Waltz Ward, often reported as Watsy, Aksha Waltz Ward, sued claiming a VH1 special portrayed her as an addicted nymphomaniac. The case was settled out of court with no money exchanged. In 2016, he told Rolling Stone that rap will die next year, 10 years from now, at some point, saying he longs for a return to lyrics and melody, and adding he lacks the cultural background to appreciate being a gangster, which he claimed is the genre's heart. Many called the comments racist and uninformed. He also dinged Madonna after her 2012 Super Bowl show. "I love all karaoke singers. All the girl singers who get up and sing with tapes. Shame on you." He called her terrific, then kept mocking the backing tracks. A private video of Gene and longtime partner Shannon Tweed leaked online. He swiftly purchased the rights and fired legal threats at the site, arguing unauthorized use of Kiss face paint. In that case, he moved quickly to shut it down. In October 2024, Simmons guest judged Dancing with the Stars for Hair Metal Night, and fans weren't thrilled. Early on, his remarks drew fire. To Danny Amendola and Whitney Carson, he said he couldn't decide which one. was more hot, 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 scoring 9 while other judges gave 7s. Viewers thought Carson looked uncomfortable. On social media, it's only the first dance, and I'm already over Gene Simmons being a creep. He kept commenting on female pros, telling Reginald VelJohnson that Emma Slater knows how to move it, telling Chandler Kinney she fogged up my glasses, and calling her face beautiful. Kinney's partner jumped in. "Hold up now." "I have 2 little sisters," fans asked why producers didn't rein him in. They also noticed scores didn't match praise, especially when he didn't find a woman hot. He tried to give Brooks Nader a 10, but had already locked a 9. Many were relieved he wouldn't return the following week. While promoting a book on power in 2017, Simmons told the New York Post that women can weaponize looks. They can dress in potato, but as soon as they pretty themselves up, they're going to get a response, adding, "Guys are jackasses who'll buy mansions and houses all because..." He also claimed women can't have both a career and a family. Get over your biological urges. It's natural to want kids, but sorry, you can't have it both ways. The backlash was immediate. Fans said he was reducing women's agency to appearance and forcing a false choice between work and motherhood. As usual, Gene expressed little regret. He says he tells the truth, like it or not. Increasingly, people push back, especially when brutal honesty sounds like insult.